when we go in for an appointment for our hair or a hair session, we are up here, right?
Oh,
We've got a
yeah.
lot going on. We're running from one thing to the other. So this is an opportunity for us to do a little check-in with ourselves and see what our relationship is with our beauty.
Good morning and welcome back, everyone. We have such an amazing guest here today. I'm so excited that Michelle Patton is here today, hair alchemist and ritualist. And I had the awesome treatment of getting to experience this last week. I know my hair is like up and stuff, so you can't see how beautiful it is. But I will tell you that I actually can't imagine getting my hair done any other way. It was such an awesome experience. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to talk about this. I have, I talk about, essential oils and how to bring in essential oils and, in the bathroom for ritual and things like that. And it just never truly occurred to me about making this about your hair and all the like deep, work you can do with your hair. And so, gosh, Michelle, thank you for being here. Good morning. And before we get started, what is in your coffee cup?
Coffee.
Coffee.
With a spoonful of sugar and a touch of milk.
Yeah. Delicious. Simple and wonderful.
Yeah. In my favorite mug. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that matters.
It does. That totally helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or like with
everyone
fun little
has
sayings.
a special mug. You're always the one that fills you up.
I have some fun little ones that I like. And I never thought I'd like little cups, but there's a couple like little ones I have that I got for gifts, and I just love holding them. They're like super fun. So gosh, our topic is, with daily ritual right now, what we're talking about. And can you just explain for our audience a little bit about what you do? Because I didn't know what to expect. And it was just beautiful and magical. And so you can kind of tell us. I think a lot of people out there don't even know what the work you do is.
Great. Thank you. That is a great question. And it's spreading around, which is lovely. Because I have some friends that have been doing ceremony with hair for years. I mean, really centuries it's been going on.
Wow.
Right? When we think about cultures that have revered hair and beauty, right? Egyptians and beyond, right?
Yeah.
The goddess in so many ways. And so what I like to do is I invite people to be curious and playful with their beauty experience. And I think that it really helps people feel a little bit embodied in that space. So inviting some oracle cards into your morning, kind of doing a little morning check-in to see how you're doing and where you're at. A lot of us, when we go in for an appointment for our hair or a hair session, we are up here, right? We've got a lot going on. We're running from one thing to the other. So this is an opportunity for us to do a little check-in with ourselves and see what our relationship is with our beauty. It's something, many of us don't often think about. And then the role that our hair plays in that. So we do a little check-in. We do a nice deep consultation as well about what your needs are, what your hair needs are, and what is your personal expression of beauty. What does that look like for you? And asking, in deeper knowing some of the cards. And our hair is part of our extension of our nervous system. It lives in the auric field between the human body and our aura, and it receives information. It gives out information. It's a cosmic antenna. It's part of our crown chakra. And as hairdressers, we're touching someone's crown, So
I just never even thought about that. You brought that up. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So cool.
Yeah. I mean, this has its own consciousness. It's like a plant. Our body has its consciousness. The heart has a consciousness. The mind and the hair also. When we receive information, we get chills. That hair on our arms and our body is getting delivered the message from our nervous system to our nervous system that's then delivering it to our minds, right? So
Yeah.
when we look at it in that space, I see it as an opportunity for us to think about when we cut hair, we are cutting not only something that's heavy on the outside, but we feel lighter energetically because it's also, we're cutting an energetic,
Yeah.
right? An aspect of that. So inviting people to then think about, well, if we are going to shed, transform, transmute, integrate our beauty today, what else is there that we can use to release, transform, shed? And an
Oh, yeah.
opportunity to write that down in reflection. And then at the end of the appointment, we'll use some of our hair, the hair that we've cut within that, and use fire and burn to transform some of it.
Yes. I loved that. I love that you
Yeah.
did that.
And then we energetically will assist the body in whatever it needs to move through. So I have tools for sound, I have bowls, forks, whatever comes in. And we do some guided meditations too to help us release what needs to be released through the aura and the chakras and the body and check in with the body. Again, we're so here that we're not often thinking about being embodied and
Yes.
checking in what the body needs and then releasing some of those things at the sink and then also, calling back energetically. Even if we're cutting that cord, even if we're writing down and burning whatever that intention is and being intentional about the session, we have to remember that we have energy attached to that.
Yes. If I don't know if people can imagine, most people have gone like to get their hair done, right? And they go, you say you go to the sink. Well, let's back up a little bit. I feel this is what I feel. In the past when I have gone to have my hair done, it can easily become a session where you're complaining about things. Like I'm sure you hear so many people's problems and things like that and then it's like more almost like a negative energy because it's all of this like releasing the negative. And this experience was so different because it was so positive and it just like fed my soul. And then when you go to get your hair washed, and it's usually, you imagine that's a lot of people's favorite part about having their hair done is because they, people like kind of massage your scalp and everything. Oh my gosh, Michelle gives you like this experience. It was like, it was like a sound bath. Like it was amazing. And so I just want our audience to know like how different this is. It's just so beautiful. And just imagining giving yourself that soul nourishment, that super awesome self-care. And that's what that should be. It was
I
just so
think
amazing.
it's taking self-care. For me, it's like self-care, it's preservation
Yeah,
in our
a good word.
beauty,
Yeah.
and it's just being intentional and playful and curious around all of those things. And I think simply setting intention makes all the difference. I mean, even for the beauty facilitator, because that's what I believe we are, we're facilitating beauty for people, and that's inside and outside. And when
Oh
that's
yeah.
done intentionally, what we can shift for each other, because yeah, we as beauty facilitators and hairdressers can be, we call it emotional dumping that happens
Yeah.
from the guests in the chair throughout the day. But if we shift that and change the intention,
Yeah.
it feels
And
light.
so much better for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like so both parties get so much out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the positive experience, which whenever we're taking care of ourselves, we're actually uplifting the energy of the world. It's like blessing the world. It's so cool. I love
Yeah.
it. I also feel like, because sometimes I've talked about like goddess self-care, like and that to me is like totally being a goddess and that whole experience. It's so awesome.
Yeah. And I think it's personal, goddess. It's personal.
Yeah.
It's autonomy over self.
Yes.
It's like having an opportunity to feel into the subtle, layers of ourself, or check in with higher self, or check in with guides, or check in, you know, and see it's dancing with all of those things
Yeah.
in relationship to our beauty.
So
Brushing
beautiful.
our hair is ritual.
Yeah.
Moving stagnant energy that lives here. Some of us aren't always brushing. We're afraid that if we're brushing too much, that, we're losing, oh my gosh, so much hair. And the reality is, if we're not brushing or if we're not washing every day, then, we're losing at least 180, if not more, hair strands a day, if we're not consciously tending to that.
Really?
Day three,
Wow.
we might feel like we're losing a lot more hair.
Yeah.
This is the soil, the scalp is the soil, and the hair is the garden. So we want to make sure that we're tending to all of those things.
I love that. So beautiful. Oh my gosh. And your space is beautiful. I know. So you have a couple spaces that you work out of. Can
Mhm.
you tell our audience where you're located?
So I'm located in Portland at Ritual Beauty Collective a few days a week. And then I'm in Hood River 1 day a week at the moment at Balm and Bristle in the Heights. And then once a month, I travel down to Corvallis at a friend's salon called Azalea Jane. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people listening that could probably get to one of those places.
Yeah.
So are there some things that we could do like, daily you talked about brushing.
Brushing. If
Any other?
we're gonna, it's mostly, especially if it's a shampoo day,
Mhm.
and even our curly haired girls often aren't brushing. They're just combing in the shower. And there's lots of narratives out there around hair and what you should do. And I think we should all explore different narratives and find what works for us. There's no absolute.
Mhm.
So I think that brushing hair with a natural bristle brush is a beautiful invitation for us to, connect, give ourselves a moment of connection with our hair and what that represents for us. And again, tending to that soil for the garden.
Oh,
Natural boar bristle brushes or natural bristle brushes will move the oils that are on the scalp down the hair. So it'll help with shine and elasticity in the hair. And some of us have bad relationship to that. I mean, when we think psychologically as children, some of our parents or caregivers were brushing our hair but wasn't intentionally tending to it in a loving way.
mhm.
It was very much like quick, get it done way.
Oh yeah.
So being able to then come in and do that work for ourselves in a loving way. And I think it's
Oh,
a beautiful opportunity to share it with our children,
yeah. Boys and girls,
boys
everybody.
and girls.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nice. Are there any things that you do for ritual every day that you'd like to share with the audience?
My energy hygiene is like at the top of my list.
It's not the best. I love calling it that. The energetic hygiene. I love that word. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't often think of it that way. I mean, we have mental hygiene, we have physical hygiene, we have energetic and spiritual hygiene.
Yes.
So how are we
So good.
tending to those things, right? So
Yeah.
tending to my energetic hygiene is most above all. So I put my headphones in the morning and I instantly go to sound bath. So I listen to sound bath in my ears. I grab my cup of coffee and I come into my meditation room and I ground. So energetically, I ground myself with a cord. I take the power back in the room that I'm call my guides, call my healing master. I ground. I also run energy, so I'll run earth and cosmic energy, clear out my chakras and my aura, sit in meditation and prayer, and then I'll read something spiritual that will also support me throughout the day. So I like to give myself at least an hour before I have to move into whatever else the day has planned for me. And the end of the day too, clearing.
Yeah. I love the end of the day myself. It's like really special and so nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and midday check-ins.
Yeah.
Setting different intentions, like segment intending for everything, and energetic hygiene. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
constantly thinking about, what am I feeling? Is it mine? Whose is it? How can I release it? How can I call my power back from that?
Well, especially when you are, you're just working so closely with people all the time. One
We're
of those.
There's an energetic transference that's constantly happening when we're touching. I mean, and or sitting next to someone that we're consciously, unconsciously aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Wildly is her name. She suggested to me once because I'm often at our coffee shop. I'm often in the window. I'm not in there as much as I used to be, but in the window. And she had suggested to me to put crystals right along the counter there. Right, so I'm in the window as kind of an energetic kind of protection for me. And I did that for quite a while because I was in the window so much. And I really appreciated that. I think it helped a lot.
Creating a golden net around yourself,
Yes.
creating a circle in the morning around whatever space I'm in. Like even when I go to work, I have to refocus, reground, add the circle, call in the guides, make sure that I'm always serving higher self, moving me in the direction to serve others, and setting that intention for everyone to be seen, heard, valued, and appreciated throughout, every exchange. And I mean, I create vortexes in the floor and tie it to my ankle and ask that everything that isn't mine can go into that vortex down into the center of Mother Earth to be transmuted.
No, I love that.
Yeah. I use
Yes.
roses to gather, sticky roses. I program them to go into my chakras or around my aura and just ask for them to pick up whatever it is also that needs to be picked up, vacuumed.
Um, yeah, and it sounds like it might, if you haven't been doing that, it sounds like it might be a lot, but it just becomes a habit. It totally becomes a habit. And then you naturally go to that place, like mentally, you just go to that place. So it's a wonderful practice that it becomes a habit.
Exactly. And that's how habit forms, right? It's like, you do it once and it might take a few minutes and then you do it the next day, and that's what ritual is
Yeah.
intentional habit.
Yes.
It's just switching it from being something that is something I have to do all the time. It's habitual,
Yeah.
versus I'm setting the intention to do this, and this is the intention. And
And
it's
then
if it's loving presence, then
you feel so empowered. Such an empowering feeling. It's wonderful.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So do you have any like a few books or podcasts or anything that you'd suggest that you really like that you want to
Gosh,
share? I mean, you probably have so many. You're always bringing up wonderful information.
I just I love to learn and grow in like every possible way. Um, gosh, there's so many aspects. My favorites, gosh, my favorite books. So one of them that's sitting over here right now is What My Soul Told Me. So that's one. Gosh, what am I reading right now? I'm reading some book on basic psychic development because I think developing my own will just help overall. Podcast wise, I kind of like some culty stuff. I love the psychological pieces of it. So one of my favorite podcasts is a little bit culty.
Uh-huh.
And that just invites, people in to speak about different aspects and what that could look like,
Yeah.
you know.
It's wonderful to hear. I love hearing like everyone's perspective. You just see what everyone's thinking and doing and
Yeah, and you really get to see, for me right now, exploring like ancient civilization, understand. I love religion.
yes.
So, the Gospel of Mary is one of mine, that sits in this room too, that I can always reach to. And yeah.
And you have a podcast coming soon, I understand. So, so
Yeah.
probably very, very possibly by the time this airs, we might be able to share an episode or a link or something for that
Yep.
as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, how would you like people to connect with you? If they're going to connect with you outside of here. You have, by the way, I love your social media.
Oh, thank
So
you.
if you aren't on if you're on social, you should be following Michelle. But yeah,
Thank you.
how can we connect?
I'm I'm on Facebook at Michelle Minor Patton. And it's Minor Minor. And on Instagram, it's Michelle Leap. So it's Michelle Michelle Leep. And the Lee is my middle name. And the P is my last name. So yeah. Right now,
We'll put
that's what's happening. I'm playing around with blogging. I'm toying around with different things. So we'll see.
so fun. Well, and we'll put all this in the show notes so you can connect. And oh my gosh, just thank you for being here today. I
Thank
just
you
love
for
your
having
energy and
me.
your magic, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori. I appreciate you and being part of like building this community here is beautiful. So thanks.